Welcome back, everyone, to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast, and this time we're going to have a 4v4s on General Mud. Sent in, well, I'm not really sent in, but uploaded to kodu.org. I do not know by who. So we're going to have the CB clan, Cold Beer Drinkers. On the north, playing as the allies, we have a Soviet player, Landwehr, Rayon, as the Brits. Hold on, my bottle cap is not screwing up correctly. Okay, there we are. WTF Mate, playing as, of course, the Brits, and Vic as the Soviets. So 2 Soviets and 2 Brits, interestingly enough, already going for Guard Motors. On the opposing team, we're going to have Makan as the Wehrmacht, Runisch Fabegelage, Rucheschbebelage as the OKW, Heavy Jackass as the OKW, and Luxley also as the OKW. So it's a clan match, and yeah, General Mud, of course, lots of mud. It says in the name. Fuel points on the left hand and right hand side at the extremities. Easy to hold with a machine gun. Then, of course, pretty normal stuff with PvPs. Yeah. We already see some Stern Pioneers moving across into the left and capturing the fuel point over here, but they're going to get cut off actually by these infantries. They're going to build a trench, so overall it looks like the left side a little bit slanted. We've got a couple of allied players versus just one German player. The other one is just approaching Robin, and he's going to have an MG42. MG42, of course, going to set up and try to suppress these guys before they can finish their trench. Can they do that? Not enough. Not quick enough. They managed to finish the trench. However, they get a couple of kills before that, and I don't think that these 2 guys are going to be able to do too much. They get into the trench, but they're pinned, so they're not going to be shooting back at the Germans anytime soon. We have a Universal Carrier moving up to actually assist, which is going to do its own work and probably help out against the MG42. Especially good against the Cube Wagon. On the right side, we have a bit of an infestation of Volksgrenadiers, but it looks like the Soviet player over here, Vic, with those penals, is going to have an easy time at least repelling Volksgrenadiers. Whereas the other German troops, well, it is Makan's support weapons focused stuff, so not really a lot of frontline infantry for the Germans on the right side. They're getting pushed back a little bit. They're also getting outbuildinged over here. What WTF Mate has gone for a lot of infantry sections, so he's going to be able to really quickly spread around, get some buildings, get some caps going, and do that kind of stuff. Can they finish off this? Yeah, they can. Good. So overall, doing pretty well for the Allies on the right, but the left is falling back to the Germans. Looks like a Panzerfaust was used by Robin, and he's gonna be immobilizing the UC, and the Cube Wagon comes in to finish it off. However, second Panzerfaust will finish it off. There we are. So that's pretty okay. Pretty good success for the Germans on the left. However, they're still losing the right and they're losing the center as well as a consequence because of WTF's strong infantry corps that is just able to come around and cap everything. Right now, Clown Car from Vic is taking a lot of damage from probably Panzerfausts. Yes, Panzerfausts. And yeah, overall, not the best possible position to be in for him, but thankfully for him, he's got the support of WTF, who came around with his infantry and managed to cut off all the German troops from the right-hand side corner. However, I'm pretty sure that these infantry sections are not going to be able to hold in here for too long, not unless they get some support, and they are getting some support over here in the form of more infantry. And yeah, WTF does have quite a lot of fuel as well. I wonder what he's going to go for when it comes to tech. Right now, the machine gun's finally going to turn and try to face the infantry sections, but the infantry sections smartly decide to pull back to the trees and get some cover, just to avoid getting themselves suppressed, but just the last possible second, a burst does get them. And in fact, a Firestorm pick from one of the Germans, so Ruhes, he's going to go with those Flamers on the Stern Pioneers. Not entirely sure that's the best possible choice, considering right now the action is really happening at mid to long range on this side, so I don't know. In the meantime, on the left side, we have Landwehr trying to come in and get a bit of a counterattack going against the occupying forces on the left. However, because of Rayon sending his infantry units to the mid section of the map, he's not going to have as much of a punching power, although he's definitely going to keep these Germans busy while Rayon's infantry capture some points in the center, such as this munitions point. On the right-hand side, we have a pretty good allied push. I mean, the Germans are just being completely pushed back, and right now, as you can see, Ruhes is trying to avoid retreating his guys because of the battle group headquarters. Very risky move considering all the allied stuff that is in the area that is able to finish them off, but so far he has been decently lucky and avoided losing anything. So for doctrinal picks, you know, other than that, Firestorm, actually, great usage of this clown car. However, interesting counterattack from the Germans with the flames almost takes out the engineer squad, but the Sturm Pioneers were completely gunned down by that machine gun. Yeah, it seems like overall... Seems like overall the Allies are going with a little bit more of a doctrinal pick early on. We have a Vanguard operation and, of course, that guard mortar that we've seen earlier, plus the Firestorm. Firestorm not really working in favor of Ruhesh Webelage. Not really working in his favor. We'll see whether or not Vanguard operations and guard mortar work for the Allies. I mean, guard mortar, already we see some guards riflemen coming through. And they're going to be extremely useful against light vehicles such as this 222. Looking at teching, we can see that Heavy Jackass has gone for battle group. So of course, along with Ruhes, both of the German OKWs going for battle group headquarters, whereas both of the Wehrmachts, of course, already have tier 2. So we can see not only 222s, but also Flame Half-Tracks. Very good decision. Flame Half-Track, very strong. However, there's a demo charge over here which might get triggered and blow up a Grenadier squad. Not the best target of all of these, but nonetheless quite important to take down. Flame Half-Track approaches these poor penals, and unfortunately they're going to have to retreat from behind that heavy cover. That flame extra damage was really hurting, and so he had to retreat as quickly as possible. Right now we have AEC, a bit of an AEC push from WTF. So he's using that fuel advantage that the Allies have built up right now, but yeah, seems like AEC is not really going to be able to do anything spectacularly different, because of course there's no real German light vehicles except this 251 half-track, and the AEC is really a mostly anti-light vehicle unit. Another AEC for Rayon, so lots of AECs, no Bofors coming in from our British lovers. Not sure if that's the best possible decision. This is a big map, and so having some emplacements to actually hold some of it might have been a good decision. Yeah, overall, not the best. In the meantime, it seems like this MG42, yeah, it's gonna just push back against these engineers a little bit. 2 MG42s, in fact, in the area. Not really quite sure. Yeah, well, seems like they're having a little bit of a fun time. Anyway, stalemate overall, except on the right side we have a nice push from the Germans. That's going to get pushed back, of course, by the AEC and the infantry. Infantry is still around, 4 infantry squads for WTF, plus he's got those Royal Engineers, so he's going to be able to repair up that AEC. And at this point, he might be waiting for the Commando glider, the forward logistics glider. This one gives you, of course, the glider, air landing officer. Yeah, hard to remember the name of everything. The air landing officer, which is a pretty great unit with that officer charge that it has. It's pretty good against infantry, and it's got Gammon light bombs. Plus, from the HQ glider, if you can keep it hidden somewhere, you can build commandos relatively cheaply at like 340. Meantime, left side, Heavy Jackass already gone for a Panzer headquarters, plus some support from these packs. This is going to be pretty much an unassailable position for the Germans, from which they can launch attacks into the left-hand side of the map. Right now, situation looks very, very good for the Allies when it comes to VPs. There's a triple cap, plus pretty much most of the important resource points on the map are either on under Allied control or about to be, like this right side, as you can see. T-70 on the field for Vic is also going to compound the Allied dominance on the right side, because not only it's going to help against the 251 half-track, but of course it's very, very strong against infantry. That plus the presence of this stolen MG plus M3 scout car just means that the Germans are not in a good way on the right side. And yeah, not really anything that they can do except bring up a Raketenwerfer. And Raketenwerfer, of course, I mean, forces away to T-70, but nothing really extra important. I mean, if we look at Vic right now, he's got 100 fuel, and so he could very quickly go for a Mechanized Armor Company at Tier 4. Looking at other allied resources, we have 130, 50, of course he's gone for the AC, and then 102 from Landwehr, he's going for the Mechanized Armor Company as well. So we're going to see some late game allied units on the field right now, whereas the Germans are still kind of lagging behind except for Heavy Jackass. Robin Loxley does have the Battle Phase 2, but he doesn't have any of the buildings. Then we have Makan, who's going for the Battle Phase 3. He still does not have any buildings. And then Ruhesh Webelage does not have Tier 4 nor Tier 3. So he's really saving up those resources, and those Volksrangers are going to pay the price for that. So overall, the Allies are in a bit of a temporary advantageous position when it comes to teching. But if the Germans get some buildings constructed and some text research, they're going to be okay for now, at least. They haven't fallen in too far behind in these early stages of the game. Of course, in a 4v4 like this, that's kind of what you'd expect. And with the Germans being the way they are, they're going to have plenty of time to recover late game. In the meantime, right side, again, we have the Allies keeping control of this, whereas the left side finally has been reclaimed by the Germans. Right now, there's a very, very substantial force that's holding the field point, plus a machine gun holding the center VP, although that's going to get forced back by some Brens, who actually managed to get the snipe. Yeah, overall, the Allies don't really, I think, have the resources to actually push into this left side, at least effectively. That is, unless they use their AC extremely well, but with this TAC 47, not 47, just 75mm on the field, it's going to be very hard for the AC to actually make a good impact. Nice incendiary grenade on these infantries. However, there's a very nice push coming in as the MG was setting up, so it was not able to finalize its... Although then it does open up on the penals and then forces them away. There's another infantry section that tries to come down. Actually, no, sappers try to come down. Gonna get forced away by some recruit MGs and pioneers. Whereas the right side still is pretty much allied territory through and through. We had a support gun being brought up, probably by Ruhesh Webelage, but it's gonna get destroyed most likely by these mortars. The 130mm mortar, of course, very strong at counter battering enemy light artillery. We have a Cromwell coming in for WTF, and right now he's really only struggling with machine guns, so the Cromwell really does seem like a decent choice. The problem with that is that there's a lot of AT guns on the field for the Axis, so WTF might also want to think about artillery to try to counter the anti-tank guns. He's got a mortar pit, but it's in a very, very conservative location. I'm pretty sure it can only fire for targets at this house mostly. That's going to be the range, maximum range on which it has to operate. And yeah, left hand side, going back to it, we have a vehicle coming in. It's a Katyusha. So Katyusha is going to fire on what? I do not know. Most likely these two Volksgrenadiers gets a nice first damage, but yeah, only 4 kills overall. Unfortunate. That first barrage could have been a lot more effective. And yeah, overall, it just seems like the Allies, well, on the left side, they're getting some good pushes going. As you can see, they're not going to be able to capture and hold it in a, I guess you could say, more than temporary fashion. They were really, really at a disadvantage on this side. Whereas on the right side, they have pretty much the whole place under lockdown. And that's really bringing in a lot of nice resources. Another thing that's bringing in a lot of resources for the Allies are these fuel caches. We have 2 fuel caches for the Allies, 2 fuel caches for the Axis. And actually, no, 3 fuel caches for the Axis. So a bit of an advantage there for the Axis forces. Of course, we have a munitions cache as well from the Allies. they're going to be able to bring down a little bit of extra artillery later on. And Landwehr really pushing in that mechanized armor company early to mid-game advantage. So he's going with that T-34-76. He's gone for that Katyusha. And at this point, I feel like he could go for a second T-34-76 as well, just to provide a little bit of extra infantry support. Whereas Vic has reached the mechanized armor company, but I'm thinking he wants to go for the T-34-85s. Actually, no, he's going for the Katyusha. I'm not sure about that, actually. I feel like T-34-85s won't be a good idea for there. WTF is actually coming in with a flank with these Cromwells, but it's going to get pushed away by the Fur Panzer Quarters, which is now, by the way, building a P4. So P4, very strong pick right now for what we see from the Allies. See a couple of nice medium tank purchases, so the Panzer IV is going to do just fine. Panther on the left side actually hits a mine, probably. That's not going to be that great. Also, we have a airburst round, so we see that Rayon has gone for Anvil. Has WTF gone for anything? No. So we might see some Churchills, but I doubt it. Most likely the Anvil will just be used. Actually, no, we see a Churchill coming in. Damn. So Churchill plus T-34-76, can that deal with the Panther? Well, with sufficient numbers, of course. However, yeah, we're going to see a little bit of a setback from the Allies as this Panzer IV is going to absolutely melt the Cromwell. However, it gets a little slightly mismicroed. Instead of going behind the Cromwell and blocking it from escaping, it just kind of goes in front. But with the chase, the Cromwell goes down, and the Panzer IV will be able to safely retreat back to base, although it will take a few Piats for its troubles in the proverbial behind, but not really anything too major. Of course, for a Cromwell, a bit of a paint job scratch is a good price to pay. And oh no, it's General Mud, so there's errors. This happens pretty much all the time with this map. That's sad. Flame Half-Track's still alive, only 4 kills, but 2 stripes of veterancy, so that's pretty okay. What can the Allies do right now to kind of break this stalemate? Because right now, they're the ones that, while they have the advantage nominally, they have most of the map, they have, I think, more units in terms of POC cap. Yeah, they do. Slightly, but they do. They're actually in a little bit more of a hurry than the Germans, because the Germans have a little bit of a superior late game at their disposal. So the Allies are the ones who are under pressure to actually end this game as quickly as possible. What can they do? Well, WTF does have kind of the right idea. He's got a lot of infantry coming in. However, he doesn't really have a lot of support weapons. I feel like the Allies overall are lacking in anti-tank guns. This is 4v4 territory where there's a lot of artillery, of course, but anti-tank guns are always quite useful, especially once you start seeing a lot of Panthers hit the field. As you can see, we have 2 Panthers for the Germans on the left side. We have a Panther for the German on the right side, along with a Panzer IV. So lots of German mediums starting to hit the field. Allied mediums aren't going to be enough to defend against those. Not if the Germans are well coordinated. However, we see a nice push coming in on the left side. This is dangerous because it's actually just charging into a potentially dangerous neighborhood. Lucky that there weren't any mines. There is a demo charge, but not enough. As, of course, the demo charge does not slow down the engine. But yeah, that Panther push was potentially very dangerous, but it was successful. So that's kind of what I was thinking about with there being a lot of potential dangers on the field right now for the Allies, and they need to try to deal with them in a way that is the most efficient, that leaves the Germans as little opportunities as possible. And of course, the Panthers mostly strong against enemy armor and vehicles, so if you want to go for a lot of anti-tank guns, then those are going to be pretty great against them. However, it doesn't seem like the Allies are doing that, and they're paying a little bit of a price for that, because their vehicles are just kind of sitting in the open without any cover from anti-tank guns, so that's not really helping out. T-34-85 is on the field on the right side for Vic, but he's facing a severely disadvantageous situation with 2 Panthers and a Panzer IV on this side, being able to just kind of pound away and force them away. Yeah, overall, not easy. Guards Riflemen, Infantry are going to be able to plink away at this Panther, and actually very nice usage of the button vehicle, plus a recrewing of this PaK 75mm from the Engineers. If the PaK can get into here and get a couple of shots off on the Panther, that would have been great, but the pack is actually just towed back to Allied lines to safety. Probably a good idea. Triple cap once again being achieved by the Allies on the left side, so this is very, very dangerous for the Germans. They have 212 points. That means that they only have 3 minutes left time to actually capture one of these points, or else they're actually going to lose the game. But it looks like the center is going to get captured by some Grenadiers. Veterans Free Grenadiers doing quite well. So the Germans are in a good position, but I think that they're kind of over-investing into Panthers right now. Because if we look at the Allied composition, we can see, a Churchill, very good. Well, at least Panthers are very good against it. Sherman Firefly, we will not think about that because the Germans don't know about that yet. T-34-85 and T-70 AECs. You know, T-34-76 is nothing really too heavy except for the Churchill out yet for the Allies. So perhaps the Germans could have been thinking more about the anti-infantry side of things, but it looks like their infantry is starting to have some successes. I mean, we have some good veteraned up squads running around the field, especially for the OKW. Very nice Obersoldaten for Heavy Jackass, yeah, and Heavy Jackass getting that nice lead infantry on the field. Only Makan seems to have some trouble with his infantry, losing that. But overall, yeah, it's doing quite well. Better than I would have expected, and so far it doesn't really require that much anti-infantry support from the German Panzers, which is just how you like it. And yeah, right now the Sherman Firefly is a good decision. However, it seems like the Allies are also a little bit too kind of spread out. They've got sort of the 2v2v2v2. I know that doesn't sound very fun, but essentially they're trying to play two separate 2v2s. They've got 2 players on one side, 2 players on the other side. Just now, Landwehr sent some T-34-76s on the right side, but didn't really end up doing anything, and he pulls them back. So overall, a little bit of a better concentration of forces from the Germans, considering that their units pound for pound are a little bit better than the Allied ones. However, this Panther is going to go down most likely because of the marked vehicle. So that's a very good usage of that from the Iron Mortar. Doesn't chase down the Panther, actually. Possibly a very bad decision. Possibly a good one, because it's lured in another Panther, and right now, Sherman Firefly manages to get in a last shot, but it does not penetrate the Panther, so that's going to mean the end of the Sherman Firefly. That's a very, very big investment down the drain for the Brits, and overall, all of the German vehicles managed to survive due to a little bit of a misfocus from the Allied side. They weren't really able to focus down on one tank at a time and destroy that tank first, and so they paid the price. However, we see a Typhoon Strike actually coming in, almost destroys one of the Panthers. Another attempt from the T-34-85s comes in and tries to take out the Panther, but the Panther is being repaired as we speak by some Sturmbanners, so emergency repair is doing quite well. However, the Panther charges in again and hits some Piats, so the Piats are going to kindly usher the Panther out from the premises. However, while the Allies are somehow pushing really aggressively in this area, the engagement went really badly for them. They've lost the Sherman Firefly, which is of course very, very, very valuable. They've dropped down some major airstrikes. They haven't really had any major effects. Although Ruhesh Webegelage has lost all of his infantry, so he's really gonna be hard pressed to come back and recapture these points that he lost right now. So that's why the Allies were able to get so aggressive in the area. So there's a command path around the field for Heavy Jackass. Of course, going to be great. With all the mediums that are on the field for the Germans, this command Panther is going to be basically the perfect support unit they can go for. Second Sherman Firefly is being purchased by WTF, whereas Rayon has gone for a Sherman Firefly of his own, kind of protecting Katyusha back here along with the Su-85. Oh, wow. Unfortunate. Almost able to destroy that Obersoldaten, but yeah. That was very unlucky for that demo charge from Landwehr. Overall, while the Allies still have basically the advantage when it comes to map control, the Axis now have the advantage when it comes to units on the field. However, the Allies still have more infantry than they do, so not really a full picture either way. need to be able to kind of protect their more valuable units like the Fireflies, like the Katyushas, from the Panthers, because the Panthers, they can just, if they can get a good flank off, they're going to have a very, very nasty level of firepower against these sort of lower armored allied vehicles. So they need to be well protected. Of course, AT guns stolen, very, very good for that. WTF right now is really carrying through on the right side with that infantry swarm. But this is exactly what the Germans need to deal with it. Of course, the Brummbär. We'll see if the Brummbär gets used correctly, or if it's gonna get destroyed by some Fireflies. 2 T-34-85s on the field for Vic. He's also saved his T-70 light tank. Of course, T-70 light tank at Vet-Free gets an extra recon mode sight. So if you can get that thing to Vet-Free, he's right now using it already as a recon tool. If we can take a look at the Fog of War, as you can see, it's got pretty good line of sight. So overall, yeah, the Allies are doing okay on the right side. There's another half-track actually being brought in. Interesting choice, just to reinforce units on the field. And pretty much everybody's actually taking every side. Look at this. Pretty much the entire map is actually occupied, so there's no flanking opportunities really for anybody. So that's gonna definitely it's gonna favor the Axis. It's gonna be a good advantage for them. However, if you defend everything, sometimes some areas are... Oh, that was very dangerously close from concentrated fire operation. Anyway, seems like the Axis, while they do have the advantage in the left side, they're going to be at a disadvantage on the right. Although, here comes the actual reinforcements from Ruhesvegelage, and he's going to be able to get some attacks in on the flanks. There goes the battle breakers from Ruhesvegelage, so that's pretty big push from the Germans on the left-hand side. Where are the Soviet vehicles? They're coming through. Su-85 finally managing to get some shots in. Sherman Firefly is taking a lot of damage from these Command Panthers, and they're not going to be able to finish it off. No, they are. However, the Panthers are also in a bad way, but the Allies, once again, not really able to focus their efforts on one tank at a time and get that HP bar down first, get that gun offline. All of the Panthers maintain pretty much a very low level of hit points, but very low level of hit points means that they can still fire. So they're able to better focus down the Allied tanks one at a time and destroy all of them. So a disastrous engagement absolutely decimates the Allied forces on the left-hand side, while the right-hand side was mostly even. The Allies were able to come in, destroy that vehicle, not that vehicle, that truck for the Germans, destroy a Panther actually as well, and then get out. The left really starting to be a potentially crucial spot. I mean, the Allies right now are down to 2 T-34-76s plus a Churchill Crocodile over here. They're actually going to get completely run over by the 4 Panthers that are on the field for Heavy Jackass and Robin, especially considering that one of these is a Command Panther, and especially considering that it's OKW that we're talking about. So there are the automatrons from Mechanized Regimental Quarters that allow the Axis to repair their vehicles much more quickly than they would normally be able to. So overall, while the Allies still have a pretty decent infantry contingent over here, their anti-armor is really lacking with the loss of the Firefly and the Su-85. So the Allies are going to have to step up their game on the right-hand side and get some good pushes going over here. Let's speed it up a little bit. So there's also a artillery piece from Landwehr. Where is the artillery piece? I have no idea because it's not letting me. Okay, so it's right near the base. It's firing, not sure where. Oh, over here at the base. Very good target, actually. This is going to get some kills eventually. But the Germans at this point can just kind of ignore it and use their tanks to punch through the Allied defenses. As they're trying to do right now, we have 2 players coming in with their vehicles. So, of course, we have Jackass with the Command Panther. Actually, no, 3 players considering the Brummbär from Makan. And right now, that's going to push back this tank force. Of course, going to go back to licking its wounds once again. With the heavy engineers, though, there's going to be a pretty decent repair speed for the Brits over here. Su-85 on the field for Vic, so it looks like he's not going to go entirely for the T-34-85 spam. We have another push from Vic and from WTF. They were able to destroy the Schwerpanzer headquarters this time. So Ruhesh Webegelage right now not able to replace the Panthers. However, he's gone for a KT, so he doesn't really care too much about the welfare and well-being of his Schwerpanzer headquarters. And also his mechanized regiment has been destroyed, so he's basically down to the command headquarters. Not the best position to be in, even if you have gone for the KT, because, well, what if you want to replace some of your normal units after you have purchased the KT? Well, now you're boned, then you have to rebuild, reset up the trucks. At this point, we have an interesting flank brewing up. Let's switch to the tactical map so you have a little bit of a better strategic view of things. Looks like we have a Panther plus the King Tiger chasing down some of the flanking forces, while it seems like the Central Allied forces are trying to lure in the Germans to the trap so that the flanking units can get in behind and get some good damage done. However, the flank carriers are getting flanked and the combat's going to have to retreat. In the meantime, these Panthers are actually taking pretty huge damage, so not the best possible position. Grand Theft Pack attempt going to get thwarted by the King Tiger. In the meantime, on the left-hand side, nice harassment coming in with these Penals. They were able to recapture, at least for 1 second, re-neutralize that field point. Interesting anti-harassment positions over here from Heavy Jackass. Lots of reinforced steel barricades and booby traps on the victory point. Plus, the Stuka actually hit something there earlier. So overall, the central fight is being kind of initiated slash going on and off for the past couple of minutes. King Tiger actually takes a lot of damage from the Fireflies. Most likely, no, it actually didn't even use the Tulip Rockets, so the Tulip Rockets are still available. We have a marked vehicle coming in from the Guard Motor Coordination. Comet does not chase down the King Tiger and does not kill it. Actually a huge mistake in my opinion, because they could have been able to destroy that KT, and I feel like losing the Comet to destroy the KT would have been very much worth it, because I'm pretty sure they're supposed to know that Ruhesh Webegelage has lost all of his trucks, because they put up some very good pushes to destroy these trucks. So they should know that if they destroy this KT, then Ruhesh Webegelage is basically going to be without units for a while, because he's going to have to rebuild his trucks to actually go for anything. And yeah, so that would be very crippling to the German team. Right now, it seems like this huge Panther push is coming in. The crucial part here is this Elephant. It's able to just kind of flank away at the Allied defensive tank positions without really fear of being flanked, because the Panthers are really up there taking the brunt of the damage. There's another Panther push coming in from Heavy Jackass. He's going to be able to do some damage to the Churchills, and a T-34-76 is pulled in to try to destroy this Stuka plus the Panzerwerfer. There we are. Stuka goes down. T-34-85 tries to come in and help out there, but it will not be able to do too much. The ram meant that it was basically without an engine, and so it's going to go down. Overall, not the best engagement for the Allies possible, but also not the best possible engagement for the Axis. They did lose that Stuka, so the Allies are going to be that much more safe in turtling down at this point. And crucially, the Allies are at two VPs as well, so the Axis are kind of pressure for time. Overall, not the best possible position for them to be in. They need to capture one of these points as quickly as possible. Right now, they're going to have 3 minutes of time left before they lose the game, considering the current rate at which they're losing points. In the meantime, this is where the mechanized regiment headquarters are really starting to come into play, plus the repair kits on the Sturm Pioneers. So they're able to just bring their vehicles back into the fight that much quicker than the Allies were expecting them to, despite their good sort of attempts at forcing them away. They're still going to be facing quite a lot of healthy German tanks at this point, and that's exactly what they don't want to do, because some of their forces are still repairing back. Some of them have been destroyed, so what they needed was a little bit of an extra moment of reprieve to help lick their wounds, but they're not going to really get any, or at least not as big a one as they would have perhaps hoped. There goes another Firefly from the Elephant. Again, this Elephant, crucial to this fight. It's just been able to plink away at the Allied tank destroyers while the Panthers draw the fire. This has been very helpful for the Germans, because the Allies really can't afford to lose tank destroyers like this forever. So with all the Panthers that are on the field, if the Germans can get any openings, the Allies are going to be in trouble. In fact, this British force is really very much in trouble. Look at this. 5 Panthers around. You're going to be able to destroy, just absolutely smashing and pancaking that that Firefly. One of the Panthers almost goes down. T-3485 comes in to assist. There's another Comet coming in to help. But this Vet-free Panther does not care with the extra armor. And looks like we have a bit of a push attempt that's going to get thwarted. And once again, the Axis are able to come sort of very, very close to losing all of their vehicles. Once again, another bit of a problem of focus. The Allies were not able to focus down any of these vehicles quickly enough. However, thankfully for the Allies, this Churchill is able to protect the central VP. So once again, the VPs stay under Allied control. Typhoon is going to be called in to try to get a little bit of a slowdown on the Axis push in the center. It might work. I mean, the Allied infantry is just kind of desperately throwing itself into the meat grinder. We have another attempt from the Axis on the right side to push in. It's not going to be the best possible push, however, because they're going to get completely surrounded by some T-3476s, plus the marked vehicle. Finally, one of the Panthers is going to go down. I'm thinking in the center we had another push coming in from the Germans. They were able to do some damage to the defending units for the central VP, but the central VP is still crucially held by the Allies. The right side VP is pretty much Allied town. The huge steel just wall of the Allies on this side is holding up quite well. However, Vet-4 Panther eats a ram, and right now the Elephant is still firing on the left side. It's up to Vet-2 with 5 kills. No, actually, no, 3 vehicle kills. And it looks like a Flamehetzer is just going to come in and absolutely melt all of the Allied infantry in the area, along with the Sturmpanzer support. So this pretty much means that some Sturm Pioneers can just kind of come in and capture this point. Still more airstrikes falling down. At the same time, on the right side, we have T-3485s trying to finish off these Panthers, along with the Su-85. Very, very good. Pushing up that Su-85 crucially at the last possible second. Let's see, it manages to destroy the Panther, not entirely because it's abandoned. Also, another flank coming in from another Panther, while the Comet is actually eating up some crew self-repairs. So the 2 Comets are being self-repaired right now. If those self-repairs are done, then the Comets can come in and help. Crucially, a nice decap move from these Sturm Pioneers. However, we do have a T-70 on the field in this area that can use the recon mode to capture this right side VP. So the right side VP is going to fall back to the Allied control. And crucially, the center is also being recaptured by the Allies. These shock troops can just kind of, no, don't throw a normal grenade, throw a smoke grenade. Throw a smoke grenade and hide yourself in the smoke grenade. No. And why are you not using the recon mode on this side? That's actually very bad. And right now, the Panthers are coming in and pushing in. They're managing to get... Sorry. They're managing to get an awesome surround off on the Su-85. They managed to destroy the Comet. We have a huge Panzer push. And there's absolutely nothing that the Allies seem to be able to do because, again, they've lost most of their tank destroyers at this point. Katyushas go down. Gliders go down. Mortars go down. More mortars go down. AT guns try to respond, but it's not enough. T-3485 tries to escape desperately, but it's getting hounded away by some Panthers, and it will go down. At the same time, the center has been reclaimed by the Germans, or rather recaptured. And at this point, we are going to have a triple cap on the field for the Germans as a huge swarm of German infantry comes in for the right side and absolutely tears open the Allied lines. Basically, the Allies are left with no units on the field, no points, only 7 VPs for the Germans, but they have the points under their control. They have a triple cap, and right now, with the amount of units that they have on the field, as you can see, 60 or 90 pop cap between them, whereas the Allies are down to into the 30s and 40s. It's going to be hard for the Allies to come back, especially considering how much veterancy the Germans must have accrued during that fight. Vet-3 Panther, Vet-3 Panther, Vet-2 Panzerwerfer, Vet-4 Panther, Vet-1 TT, Vet-1 Stuka, Vet-2 Elephant, Vet-1 Panzerwerfer, and lastly but not leastly, Vet-3 Command Panther. So overall, considering that the Allies are basically down to scraps, yeah, this isn't going to be looking all that great for them, at least in the next few minutes. They could try to get some guerrilla warfare actions, trying to capture some of these areas. Now, right now, yeah, Rayan is going to find out the World War One like Passchendaele fortifications with barbed wire in the mud and booby traps. This is not going to go all that well for his infantry. And yeah, they're going to have to try to slow down the VP bleed as much as possible and get some units back on the field. What is their resources situation? Not the best, but not the worst. So they have enough resources to get some units back on the field. They can try to like pick and choose their engagements as much as possible, capture at least one of the VPs and trying to hold it at any cost. So I feel like that would be the best course of action for them, but it's going to be very, very hard. So finally, yeah, as you can see, 3 Panthers show up whenever there's a bit of a fight. There goes a T-34-76. Comet really can't do too much because there's just too many Panthers, and overall it's just a bad position to be in. Bad position to be in right now. Yeah, not the best. And yeah, basically, so Lanver has run out. He doesn't have anything except for 2 T-34-76s. Rayon has been out for a while. He's only got a Crocodile, which is okay, but with so many Panthers on the field, really not a lot that those can do. WTF is really the one that's still the healthiest with the 2 Comets. But again, with all the Panthers that are on the field, what can even 2 Comets do? I mean, 2 Comets is nothing to laugh at, but there's just too many Panthers. Also, the artillery piece went down. Wonder what happened to it. Looks like a Stuka strike from Robin, most likely, because that thing just one-shots artillery pieces. So I'm guessing that was the yeah, that's also a very compatible crater, because it's only one crater. So if it had been more, actually, yeah, it could be a Stuka, considering there's a crater here, a crater here. There's no crater here, but it might have been hitting the trees. Yeah, it might have been a Stuka, might have been a a Stuka Tsufus. Might have been a Stuka Tsufus, might have been a Stuka from the air. Yeah, damn, that was one hell of a tank battle. That was absolutely insane. Anyway, yeah, this elephant, kind of unsung hero, managed to get a lot of damage off on the Fireflies, a lot of damage off on the Su-85s, and that was crucial. However, the Panthers carrying through in the end because of their superior armor. Yeah, pretty much that's kind of what you expect. That's why I was saying earlier that the Germans just kind of need to hold out and get some VPs under their control, trying to slow down the bleed, because later on their units are going to be more superior in the late game. That kind of showed itself. I mean, superior armor plus, you know, the ability to come back on the field relatively quickly, because they can repair quite quickly with OKW. OKW is pretty much the best faction when it comes to repair, unless we're thinking about sub-in industry. So what the Germans were really doing is they were coming in with their Panthers, they were utilizing their superior armor, their superior HP pools, taking damage, falling back. The Allies were not able to focus them down quickly enough, and so then come back with a repaired Panther while the fight was still not over, because the other Panthers were still putting up a fight. And eventually they were able to out-attrition with this kind of rotation mechanism, the Allied forces. And yeah, at the end, they prevailed. Overall, right now the Allies finally recognizing the value of AT guns. They're going to deal quite a lot of damage to some of these Panthers, actually. As you can see, AT guns are quite strong. However, with all the artillery that is on the field and with all the advantages that are already... Yeah, there goes one Panther. With the advantages that are already present for the Germans, it's going to be hard for the Allies to come back. But yes, that's kind of what I would have gone for if I was the Allies, more AT guns. Because even now, after losing all those units, I mean, their manpower reserves aren't all that feeble. They do have quite a lot of stuff, and this is really the problem with your AT guns in a 4v4. Artillery is just so very present. But had there been more AT guns earlier, how could it have gone? I have no idea, but it would have definitely been a nice deterrent against the Panthers. And yeah, that's pretty much what I think. Yeah, another Jagdpanzer on the field for actually Heavy Jackass. So overall, Germans just kind of filling out at this point. The Allies, yeah, except Makan. Makan has really been suffering quite the losses. Right now, yeah, there's also a lot of Allied artillery coming through. But really, the Allied artillery isn't able to provide enough support for their infantry to come in and capture the points. Yeah, look at the amount of Panthers on the field. It's just ridiculous. So finally some more Fireflies. Ooh, that was potentially dangerous. So finally some more Fireflies on the field, but it's not going to be enough because there's just too many Panthers. And look at the frontage at this point. The Axis are able to just kind of stretch their forces out from the field point over here all the way to their base. So that is not good for them, and they're going to be able to smash up one of these field caches. Most likely smash up something else as well. I wonder what it will be next. I mean, I don't see what it could be. Panther is ready. Yeah, they're just kind of gathering up and waiting to see where they're going to attack next, even though, I mean, there really aren't that many targets at this point left because they've destroyed all of them. They could, I guess, attack along this axis that I'm looking at with a cursor. I don't know. Yeah, here comes a flank attempt from some T-34 76s. In fact, one T-34 76 and 185. However, yeah, they've got plenty of targets. In fact, a little bit too many. They're going to be able to destroy a Panzerwerfer, destroy another Panzerwerfer, and perhaps the Stuka as well. So overall, Stuka's still alive, but yeah, pretty okay trade still with the amount of German units that there are on the field. It's just too many of them. And really, there's not much that they can do. There's just a massive, I guess you could say, registry of German armor in the area. And yeah, Vet-Free Comet still able to do something, but it's not enough because the Panthers see it, and then, yeah, firing line of Panthers destroys it. And at this point, I'm guessing that the Allies have nothing left but to surrender. I mean, AT guns are going to be okay, but with the crazy amount of Pinto-mounted machine guns that we're going to be seeing from all these Panthers, I don't think that the AT gun crews are going to survive very long, even though the Germans don't really have a lot of infantry on the field, except for Heavy Jackass, who has free MGs, and the Obersoldaten, yeah, and the free Sturm Pioneers from Ruhisch Webelage. And I'm starting to get better at saying his name, I think, kind of. And yeah, not a lot of options for the Allies right now. Let's speed it up. I mean, a little bit of an attempt on the left side to capture that Reckenwerfer. Man, even the Germans going for an A half-track to deal with the Typhoons. That's actually a very good decision by Ruhisch. What I would have also liked to see from the Germans, considering that they have two OKWs, is one infrared half-track, because that would have provided a very excellent intel device. Just like the T-70 was able to provide some good vision for the Allies, that would have been great for the Axis. Bloody infantry. Oh. Okay. Stuka barrage. Oh. Well, shock troops attempting to push up in the center, but there's just a little bit too heavy of a German presence on the right side. They're going to be able to capture the right side VP. And the center, yeah, they get pushed back, of course, because of all the German armor. Whereas, yeah, of course, here comes the Typhoons, but that's not enough because there's a Vet 5 Panther and a Vet 2 KT. More Typhoons in the center. Actually, no, this was the L2 Sturmovix, so that's not really all that important. Katyusha Barrage, I mean, the Katyushas were not really able to pull in too much pressure this game. I mean, yeah, of course, they did some good work, but not enough. Not enough. And crucially, they were not able to get too much of an impact on what the Germans were doing because so much of their resources were sank into vehicles that at some point the Katyushas were just kind of out of targets to shoot at because they didn't really have a lot of infantry to shoot at, but there were too many tanks against which they couldn't really do anything. So that was also a bit of a problem for the Allies over there. Their artillery being kind of ineffective versus what the Germans were going for. And at this point, Panther once again escapes. Actually, very nice usage of these Tulip rockets. Can the Allies do anything for this, though? Probably not. I mean, yeah, T-34-85's not able to push in. Sherman Firefly also kind of in trouble. And yeah, more Tulips. At this point, the Germans, as you can see, have started to be a lot less coordinated. Their pushes are a lot more piecemeal. One player goes in, and then another player goes and takes his place. But at this point, they don't really need to go ahead and make huge, organized 4-player pushes anymore. So this is actually kind of not the worst idea to go in one by one when you have such a huge superiority, because you're going to be busying the enemy kind of and not letting them have a moment of reprieve and letting them repair their vehicles. Of course, the downside is that sometimes you lose something. As you can see, Heavy Jack has down to 65 pop cap because of that, because of losing something. And yeah, other than that, however, the Allies, as you can see, are in a pretty bad position as well, except for 2 Fireflies from Rayon, 2 Fireflies from WTF Might as well. Landwehr, he's got an Su-85, and that's about it. And then the other Soviet player, Vic, has a T-34-85, but not really anything else. I mean, he's going for another T-34-85, but that's not enough. I mean, the only thing that's going for him is that he has a pretty decent amount of infantry, which has allowed him to capture and hold the right side of the map. So definitely when it comes to the VPs, the Allies still have a chance. They have 200 VPs to the 7 of the Germans. All they really need to do is they need to capture a VP for, like, I don't know, half a minute, and then they'll get the win. But that's going to be pretty hard. I mean, you need 21 seconds of double cap. Left-hand side seems pretty much outside of the realm of possibilities. There's just too many defenses. The center also seems pretty outside the realm of possibilities. There are just way too many units here. While the Allies can control the right side of the map, they're going to need to find some way to sneak in and capture on one other of the points. However, they have been able to sort of rebuild their forces, which means that they kind of have a bit of hope. However, the Germans, in this entire time, they've been able to amass quite the reserves of resources. I love Ruheshev Bilaga's army composition. He's got a Panther, a KT. He's got a Stuka, 2 flak half-tracks. Actually, no, 2 Stukas and 2 flak half-tracks. It's pretty hilarious. And 1 Sturmpioneer just for good measure, just to get a little bit of extra repair on the field. Yeah, overall, Elephant once again providing some good support in the center. Huge Sukhoi barrage gonna pretty much decimate the Allied infantry as they push in. The Panthers make their move. However, they take some Tulip rocket fire. Tulips miss. And right now, another push coming in from the T-34-85s, but they're gonna get met by a lot of Panthers, and so they're gonna have to retreat as well. Looks like in the center, one of the tank destroyers goes down. Another one is in serious peril. We have the German infantry just kind of running through these AT guns and preventing them from firing at the German vehicles as well as they want to be. There goes him. Huge Panther swarm comes in from the left-hand side 4 Panthers going to be absolutely melting all of the Allied units in the area with their machine guns and cannons. And at this point, only 3 Allied tanks left in the area to defend. They're going to get pretty much overrun, it seems, by the German tide of Panzers. There goes the T-34-85. The Sherman Firefly is alone. Emil Howitzer isn't really going to be able to do anything against that. There's another force of German tanks that's pushing through. And unfortunately, these 2 Fireflies were not able to do anything because they're under crew self-repairs. That's really kind of the downside of this, is that you're basically stuck for a while. So I think about a minute. You're basically stuck there and you're not able to do too much while it kind of slowly repairs you. So overall, not the best possible option for the Fireflies if they want to very quickly repair and get back onto the field of battle to help out their allies. Overall, the allies probably are just going to have to surrender, and there we are. Great game. Damn, that was pretty amazing. Thank you to whoever uploaded to KOTOR.org, because that was really, really great. So anyway, I've pretty much already expressed what I think about the game. If you have any other ideas, drop them down in the comments as always. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Be good.